Can I post this video? I mean, without taking your name, can I post this on YouTube?
Okay, that's not a problem.
Okay, that's very good. So we will start with the first of all we will start with the basic questions. Basic questions like uh,
Okay.
can you please explain your current project? The approach will be you will answer something. If I find that that is the correct answer,
Okay.
that is very well. And if I find that there is some room for improvement in your answer, we will also look into
Mhm.
that part after that, after the question.
Okay. So I am working on a web application project. It's a web development. Here we are using for the backend purpose. We are using Java Spring framework, and for database connection we are using for persistence we are using MyBitis, and for database we are using PostgreSQL, and for front end purpose we are using Angular 6.
Okay.
So my project is based on it's like a talent. You can say it's a talent modification application.
Okay.
But it's specific to a company's talent things.
Okay. Okay, so there are few things I want to share with you. uh, I think you can
Okay.
write down also, or you can listen to this recording later on YouTube for your help. So
Sure.
first thing is,
Okay.
whenever you are explaining your project, uh, first thing you need to tell what type of project is this. So it can be
Okay.
a web application, it can be a desktop application, it can be a mobile application, anything, like anything. You need to tell what type of project is this. You can also tell the name of your project, or the shortened form will also work. You don't need to share all the names and everything to the interviewer, client and everything.
Okay.
Second thing you
Mhm.
need to share is why your project was introduced in first place, because this project is solving some
Okay.
problem, right? This was introduced,
Mhm.
suppose there are some banking project, so it may be solving some problem
Mhm.
either for bankers or for customers. Okay,
Okay.
so there will
Mhm.
you need to tell why this project was introduced, what problem it is solving. Third thing is, uh, who are the user of this project, who are the user or who are the stakeholders for this project. So I already give you an example, like if it is a banking project, either it can be customers who are the user of this project, or some bankers maybe use this project for their like work. And if it is healthcare project,
Okay.
either it can be useful for doctors or patients. So stakeholders can be anything, but you need to tell them, the interviewer, what are the stakeholders, who
Okay.
can be benefited from this, beneficiaries of this project. Third thing, I mean, the next thing is the tools and technologies used in this project. Okay, so
Mhm. Mhm.
right now you see that most of the projects, uh, they have similar flow. Similar flow means, if you are backend developer or any front end developer also, there will be, for backend developers there will be Java. So you can also tell which version of Java you are using. Then second thing is
Okay.
framework. Framework is like any framework. So some projects are using Spring, some are using Spring Boot, some maybe use some other older frameworks, some are using microservices these days. So first thing is Java, then
Mhm.
some advanced framework, then database, because database is also necessary. Some any project without database you can't do the project. I mean, technically, uh, practically you can, but there will be some database in many cases. So you can tell your database also. So this is the third thing:
Okay.
Java, framework, database. then yeah, the next thing will be your project will be deployed somewhere, so you need to tell where you are deploying, means server. Okay, so it can be AWS, it can be Docker, it can be nowadays some are using Podman also. What type of server you are using in your project?
We are using a Tomcat server.
Okay, so you need to tell these things also. Apart from that, in addition to that, you can tell tools and technologies. Tools like you are using IntelliJ or Eclipse or
Eclipse.
to view like Grafana or yeah, to view the logs actually, logs of your application in production. Splunk is there, Grafana is there. So there are so many tools. So you need to find out before giving an interview. You need to write down that what type of technology stack you are using, complete end to end. Okay, then you need to
Okay.
tell how many people are there in your project. Okay, so okay, and what is
Okay.
your role in your project? You may be a developer, you may be a tester also. You, there are some people who are using, who are developing also their code, and after that testing also. So there are QA developer also. So you need to tell your role in your project. Are you a like shadow resource? I mean, you can't tell that you are a shadow resource, but yeah, you have to tell something that what are you currently doing.
Okay.
And one more
Okay.
thing I want to tell you, that you should also go for numbers. Numbers, these things like will click the interviewer that this person is currently working in the project. Numbers like customer base of your product. Okay, next thing is numbers like
Okay.
number of people working in your project. Okay, so these are numbers you can tell. And if you are using like, if you, nowadays many people are using microservices. So what in microservices architecture, there are multiple application, Spring Boot or any application. So you can tell how many application you are handling, how many instance are running of application are running. So numbers
So,
to like put some impact on an interviewer that the person is currently working in some project, that's why he knows all the things. Okay, so
okay.
I mean interviewer will be fully convinced that this person is fully involved in the project, is not a shadow resource or a bench resource. Okay,
Yeah, I
in
would understand.
addition to that, you can also tell uh, I mean, apart from these points, if you feel that your answer is short to explain your project, you can also tell what are your future plan for your project, like future plans like if you want to introduce a new technology to your project, or nowadays what is happening, many people are have monolith application and they are breaking down it to microservice architecture. So you can tell, I'm giving you some example, like some
Okay.
application are using some old technologies like EJB or JXRB. You and you are planning to switch Spring Rest, so you can tell that. I mean, in your example can be different, it depends on project to project, but yeah, you can tell this. So first thing is I think I covered these explain the project thing. What do you think?
Yes. It's correct. It's correct.
Yeah, so
Everything you need to.
yeah, so you can
My client
tell.
is
Okay, so next thing
okay.
is I think I should start with, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself.
Okay. Then I'm coming from Tamil Nadu. Then
Okay.
I have completed my schooling in Coimbatore. Then what I done means initially I'm from a non IT background.
Okay.
So I entered into the IT field by having an interest on application development. So
Okay.
initially, I was not aware of most of the languages. But in initial days of my project, initial 1 month is complete of full of learning.
Okay.
Then what happened means, then most of them went into the project working. So due to my personal some reason, I went to work for a nearly 15 to 20 days. So after that, what happened means there comes a major change where I learned more in my project, because at that time everyone was working. I was free for 15 days. So what I done means, without anyone's advice or something, I started to learn the framework, my project framework.
Okay.
Then while I started working into the project, right there, my mentor will say you have to do this, and I got a good mentor. What the thing means, for remaining persons, they will give, well, you should refer this one, this one, this one. Then you can get what are the things, and you can do the work. But what my mentor said means, you have to do this. You can refer these files alone. You will not mention which method you have to refer or which things you have to refer. So the other place only I got more knowledge. I had referred more most of their codes. So in IT, right? So initially, if we write the code, we can practice well and we can get some knowledge. But you will not get to know other than your writing or what you have seen in your any website or those things.
Okay.
So from others' code, I have learned different ways to write the code and how it improves the performance. Those things.
Okay.
So I have learned from that, and I have, within a few days I have made new changes in my project as well by implementing new technologies or integrating with new APIs, third-party APIs.
Okay. 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 So, uh, like a few things I want to tell you about this answer also. Like,
Okay.
keep your answer crisp, not short but crisp, point to point. Like, you can start with your name, then if you are fresher, then you can tell about your college, your passing years, your hobbies, your background, your interest. Background means your city and everything which you tell. And uh, it is a must, you need to tell about your the project you have done, and some basic technical things like your interest and everything that is important. And if you are having experience like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, I mean some or little experience, then you can start with uh, of course with name and everything. After that you can tell the number of year of experience you have, then your current role in your current company. And after that you can, after that only you can tell hobbies and interest, everything. Okay. And if you are in senior level, because it is not no use for you, but I'm just telling you that if you will be on senior level someday, like means 5 to 10 years, then you can tell many more things, like in technical you have many things to tell, because you have number of
Yes.
experience, that means you have number of experience in various domains, tools, if you have managed any team or not. So there are multiple things you can tell at that level. So that time you can skip hobbies and these part. But yeah, if you are starting and have little experience, then you can tell these things. And something, if you have some extraordinary in your project, like if you have something which is extraordinary, like any project you have done which is on GitHub, you can tell that. Any, if you have account on Stack Overflow and you are answering something there, so if you answer something on Stack Overflow, what you will get some badges or rank or something or some point or something, so you can tell. So number things apply here also. You can tell them that in Stack Overflow you have answered many things. So the purpose of telling these things are, you are telling interviewer that you are a dedicated Java developer or backend developer, that is, who is also helping the Java community, not just taking from the community but also give it back to the community. The message will go to the interviewer that this person is very dedicated, he is also, I mean, these are the plus point. It's not always necessary that you have to tell them that you have some project or extraordinary things and all. But yeah, these are to just get some points, you can tell these things if you have. Okay. So yeah, these things I want to tell. So you can listen this later and point out. I mean, use these things later on. So we will start
Oh,
with core Java now. Is that fine?
oh,
Okay.
okay. It's fine.
Yeah. So tell me
I'm
difference.
having experience on Java 7 mainly, up to Java 7.
Okay. So you don't have experience on Java 8 or and
No,
anything.
I'm learning now, and our project mainly works on Java 7. In Java 8, I have done only a small mini project to my project itself, but it's not a main big one.
Okay. No
Small
problem.
application in Java 8 I have done. Hmm.
Okay. No problem. It's good you told me. And in I think I would suggest you to learn about Java 8 by there is a YouTube channel called Telescope. It's very good channel.
Ah,
And yeah, you can
yes.
watch the video of Telescope on Java 8. I mean, you will get basic idea of everything. We will cover till Java 7 then. So can you tell me the
Ah.
difference between method overloading and method overriding?
Method overloading means you can know method overloading is nothing but so method overloading and method overriding both comes under polymorphism.
Yeah.
So method overloading means it's static polymorphism, and method overriding means it's a runtime polymorphism.
Okay.
In method in overloading we will have same method with in the same class itself we will have same method with a different number of arguments, or we will differ by different argument type.
Okay.
So in method overriding comes to the place where we will have a child and parent relationship. So we can say that parent class has some method and child class has a same method. But if you are not satisfied with the parent class implementation or its way of working, we can write our own implementation for the same method.
Okay.
So these are two the main difference of
So
overloading and overloading.
yeah.
And in overloading, right? In overloading, based on it's so in overloading is nothing but based on compile time. So based on the compile time for the object reference will be taken.
Okay. So can we achieve overloading, method overloading by just changing the return type of method?
No, method overloading is mainly does not depend on the return type. It's depend on the number of arguments or type of arguments.
Okay.
Method name should be the method return type can be a different one.
Okay.
But in overloading, right?
Yeah.
In overriding, we can have a covariant types.
Okay.
Like if you have in parent, if you have a object, in child you can have a string because string is a child of object or some other thing like that. Covariant types you can use in overriding one.
Okay. Okay. So can you declare a class private?
No, we cannot declare a class as a private because in one file, in a one Java program, we need to have at least one public class
Okay.
to execute a program application.
I mean, in any scenario, is it possible to declare a class private?
Inner class we can declare as a private, but not as a main class. We cannot declare it a private.
Okay.
So
Okay.
private, yeah, outer class can be declared as a public one or default. It's a abstract or set type. Those things we can do, but we cannot declare as a private one.
Okay. That's right. Okay. So suppose you have a class, and inside that you have some method, like method name is do something.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have a class A. Then you have a class B, which is uh, overriding that do something method. That means B class is extending A class. Okay. Then you have a C class that is extending B class, and again we are
Okay.
overriding do something method. Okay. In do something we are
Okay.
like there is some code which is written, and in the last class, last child class, I mean C class,
C class.
yeah, we are creating an object of C. and
Okay.
with that object we are calling this do something method. Okay, so you
Do something
understood
method.
the, yeah, so do you understood the entire scenario?
Oh, yes, I can understood. But my concern is the object is created is referencing that C class or referencing B class or A class.
Referencing the
Reference variable.
C class only.
Ah, C class. Ah, okay.
So like what will be the output according to you?
So the do get method of child will be executed.
Okay,
C class will get executed.
C class, I mean
Ah,
the method inside the C class you want to say.
yes, a method inside the C class will get executed.
Okay,
If we create an object for that C class and call that thing, because in overriding, right? It's a
okay,
runtime polymorphism. So during the runtime, it will take the object.
okay, okay,
Object
that's fine.
reference will be taken during runtime.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and so why Java is platform independent?
It's because of that bytecode dot class file. Because if you take the Java file, right? If you compile the Java file, it is converted into the dot class file, which is as a bytecode. This bytecode is not a machine code as well. It's some special kind of instruction. So this special kind of instruction can be executed in any machine, independent of platform, like it's a Windows or a Unix or which one. The base, because we have GRE things, right? So GRE is dependent. So what it will do means, based on that, it will convert the bytecode to that machine language of that platform.
Okay, okay, so
So it's independent. Bytecode, because of bytecode and that class file, we are achieving Java as an independent platform.
okay, so between JVM, JRE, JDK, which is platform independent and which is platform dependent?
I could say JVM. JVM is a platform dependent.
Okay,
JVM and JRE is platform dependent, because if we are developing an application, we need JDK, which has a JRE and JVM. But a person can run a Java application without JDK, because JRE is alone is enough for running that application. JDK is needs for compile those things.
okay,
But using JRE, we can run that application as well.
okay, okay. So this JDK is platform dependent because you know that for every machine, like for Windows machine or for Linux machine, we have a different JDK setup you download from the internet. So JDK is platform dependent. Then JRE is also platform dependent. Okay,
Yes,
JVM
JDK.
JVM is platform independent, and the code they produce is also platform independent because the code they produce you can run that code in any machine which
Any
which support Java. Okay, and so what is static in Java?
I don't get you.
uh, Sorry, what is static? Static is a keyword, right?
Oh, static keyword.
Yeah,
Okay. If we declare a class or if we declare a method or variable as static, it can, how it means, it can be, its value will be constant for all the objects. Like if you have a class and if we declare a three objects, so initially if it is a normal variable, each object will have a different value for that. If it is a static variable, then if we change the value by object one, and if we get that those value by object two itself, the same value what we have changed in object one will be reflected in object two as well.
okay,
So it's like a shared memory. And static is loaded during compile time itself, or during the class loading. During the class loading, static variables and static blocks are get initialized during the class loading time.
Okay. Okay, so can you tell me some of the methods of object class?
Object class first and foremost method is toString,
Yeah.
then equals, then hash code, then we can say, then we have notify method, then we have wait method, equal to string. I'm able to remember these five things.
Yeah. Okay.
To string equals hash code, then notify, wait, those things.
Yeah, there is clone methods also. Yeah, that is fine.
Clone.
Yeah. Okay. So coming to collection framework, uh, when should we choose array or array list or linked list over one another?
Okay. We can say array is in a sense when we are declaring it, so we need to define that when you are creating an array, we have to define the size.
Yeah.
So in array we cannot have a dynamic. We cannot create a array with dynamic size. But initially we have to declare the size of the array. So its size cannot be changed at later part of them. Only we can create a new array and initial and reference it to the same object as well. So here the memory wastage will be a more because if we create an array of 10 elements and if you have only two elements in that array, the memory wastage will be 4. Whereas array list and linked list comes under collection framework. In collection framework, may we can create a dynamic size, but this also have some memory things like because in collection we will have a memory of that memory of next element those things. But even though collections are good for memory management, but in array we can in array right in array our performance is good in terms of while we are retrieving the element directly by index we can get those performance things are more in a array. If you take array list, in array list we can insert a duplicate elements, and in array list insertion order is preserved. In
Okay.
linked list is linked list like a doubly linked list.
Okay.
Here also it is an order is preserved. But if we take array list, it's useful for insertion, insertion and retrieval. But insertion and retrieval in the middle of things, it will get low performance because the remaining things has to be moved front and left. So at that time, so insertion in the middle of array will take more time and the performance will less. But in linked list, right, it's very easy in the insertion in middle because it will have a front element for memory and back end element. Only we can insert element in the middle by referencing that front element and next element easily.
Okay. So what is a diamond problem in Java? It's term in the context
Yes,
of, yeah, in the context of inheritance.
inheritance. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
multiple inheritance in for classes is referred as a diamond problem because here a single class extends a multiple class. There may be the situation where both class can have same method. So if we extend that both class with the same method, then our class it's difficult. Ambiguity error will come when we are trying to get that class method when you try to get the method.
Okay.
But multiple inheritance can be used for interface because only child things are doing implementation, right? So for interface it's allowed.
Okay. Okay. So coming to like uh, algorithms and data structure, do you know what is merge sort?
What? No, I don't have much experience on algorithms for data structures.
Okay. Okay. So merge sort is like divide and then uh, sort each and half and
Con-
then merge it again. I will like this video will be very long, I mean if I explain it to you, but
okay.
yeah, in short I can say that
Mm,
you have an input
mm,
array or anything which you want to sort. Then what you will do,
okay.
you will divide it into half, and each part you will sort and then you will merge it again, in short. But yeah, you can learn that about these quick
Mm-hmm.
sort, merge sort,
Okay.
bubble
Starting.
sort, anything. uh,
Okay.
I will share some link to with you of there are
Oh,
some YouTube videos actually. They are presenting with the very good graphical representation, everything, so you can watch them. uh, okay, so what is string pool in Java?
Uh, if you create a string literal, right? String literals are stored mainly in a string pool. If or variables in string pools are immutable,
Okay.
and the variables in the string pool are not done by garbage collection itself, because garbage collection destroys the object only in only from a heap. So since string pools are immutable, we can use that for like a other networking transfer purpose or those things, because in variables in the string pool can't be changed.
Okay. Okay, and what is the difference between heap memory and stack memory in Java, in JVM?
So, whenever we are creating any object, right, those things are stored in heap memory, and the reference object and the local primitive variables, those things are stored in stack memory.
Yeah. So in stack memory, what type of data will be stored?
In stack memory, we will store the reference object types that are in primitive variable. Those things we will store in stack memory.
Okay. So in stack primitive values, and in heap,
Primitive local. In heap, we will store objects.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So you, uh, yeah, correct. You can remember this as whenever we are like in array, whenever we are adding something uh, like bigger than its size, we get stack overflow something error, right? Because it is going
Precisely.
inside the stack, it is trying to go inside the stack, right? Okay. Do you know what is binary tree?
No, I'm not aware of that data sets and kind of things.
Okay, okay. Okay, so this binary tree is kind of a data structure which is made up of nodes. So each node has two childrens. Okay, and the childrens can have like two other childrens. Okay, so
Um,
whenever you are like sorting data or faster search, you can use this.
so,
Because sorting, no, sorry, it is already in sorted order in binary tree.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so searching is fast. Okay, okay, okay. So do you know what is recursion?
Yes, calling the same thing again and again repeatedly is called recursion.
Okay, okay.
Calling the same method again and again.
Yeah, yeah. From the same method. Okay, and
Same method.
so coming, we like covered most of the things on what. Yeah. So you have a two numbers. Okay, you have to swap these two
Two
numbers.
numbers.
Yeah, two variables x and y, and x has some
Oh,
values
okay.
like 5 and y has some values like
Mm.
6 or 10. Okay, so you
Oh,
need
okay.
to swap these values. X should contain 10
Okay.
and y should contain 5 at the end.
Okay.
and you have to do it without any temporary variable. With temporary variable it
Without
is
any
easy,
temporary.
but yeah, you have to do it without any temporary variable.
Okay. Oh, I'm not able to get find it.
Okay. Okay, no
Can you
problem.
explain me how to do that?
Yeah. So like you can do that by I will give you an example of
Okay.
so there is Pune and there is Bangalore, and you want to uh, Pune
Yeah.
has some population and Bangalore has some population. Okay, you need to switch entire population,
Okay.
okay, without using third city.
Okay.
So what you will do, you make a copy of Pune population and put inside that Bangalore. So now Bangalore has Pune plus Bangalore population. Okay,
Yeah.
now what you will do,
Yeah.
y- from the current Bangalore population is Pune plus Bangalore, Pune's old population plus sorry, Bangalore's old population plus Pune's new population. So now what you will do, you will minus the population of Bangalore from the current total population. So you will the Pune population will be. I actually sorry. To be frank, I want to explain to you in a better way, but I think I ruined it. So no problem.
Okay.
Uh, no, you can actually sub.
Yeah, I'm able to get that.
Uh, I mean, uh, yeah, so you have x, so in x you can put x plus y, and you have y, so
I
inside y so now x became uh, 15. Okay.
X became 15 and we have to
Yeah,
minus that in
yeah,
it.
from
Mm.
15 you can minus the older value
Mm.
of y, and put again inside the
Mm.
y. So now y became
Mm.
10 and x became 5. Okay.
Fine. Fine.
Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between unique and primary key?
So unique and primary key, we can have a difference like unique queue will have a, if you have more rows, we need to have a unique queue value, just unique. In primary key, we'll have not null and unique queue in that table.
Okay. Okay.
Not null. Primary key includes not null plus unique. Unique is means that a distinct, like a distinct value is like a unique. Primary key will have not null plus unique value.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, do you have little bit experience with Spring?
Oh, yeah, Spring 4.0.
Okay.
Spring
So
Boot may, I have done a small project, but Spring MVC, those things I have experience.
okay. Okay. So and do you know anything about servlets?
Yes, servlet is a class which is used to generate a dynamic web page
Yeah.
by displaying it.
Can is there any
So it's acting based on that HTTP request, based on some requests, those things.
okay, so is there any relation between servlet and Spring?
Oh yes, if you take right, we are using our project. We are using a Spring MVC where we are using a dispatcher servlet.
Yeah,
It's considered as a front-end controller.
yeah,
So initially, whenever request come to our web server, then web server will look into that XML file using the web container to look into that XML web.xml file for the servlet. So servlet can't understand the HTTP request directly. So what web container will do means it will convert that HTTP request into that response or request form, and it from the web.xml file it will using the handler mapping, it will find the appropriate which servlet has to be invoked, and it will invoke that.
okay, okay. Yeah, yes, you are correct. Actually, servlet initial days when we are developing web applications, we use servlets. So the problem is with servlet, for each request you need to create a different servlet. Okay, but now with
Hmm.
Spring MVC, you have one single servlet which is dispatcher servlet that will take all the request,
Um,
and that will like forward or redirect all the requests from to all the controllers. So here we create multiple controllers, and like these controllers can handle the request, and dispatcher, the work of dispatcher servlet is just to redirect the different requests to different controllers.
yes.
Okay. Uh, do you know what is IOC?
Those is nothing but a innovation of control. So it takes care of creating of object and wiring them up during that runtime. Those things it will take care of the things.
Okay.
Spring we as a IOC container, so where all beans are created and wired up when it's needed. So main advantage of the Spring is a IOC container. Using the application context, we can able to get that bean those things.
Okay. Yeah. And at a database side, I think you have used iBetis, right?
Oh yes, my Betis is just some older
MyBetis.
version. It's not iBetis. My Betis.
Okay, MyBetis you have used. So,
iBetis 3 we are using.
okay. Okay, so like, do you find any advantages of using MyBetis?
Yes, because in what I am not known much knowledge on Hibernate, but in my Betis, what I have seen means I'm able to get the results from the database using the criteria, example, those things. Then where through my Betis, we can directly create a directly interact with the SQL statements. So other things like Java object with the table objects we will do. But here in MyBase, it's like a persistent layer which will from the using the Java method we will coupling here we are coupling Java method with the SQL statement or the stored procedures.
Okay.
So criteria, those examples are very much useful for us because we need not write a query as well. If you have a predefined table, we can generate a DOM file and a DOW file. In DOW file, using a MyBytes generator, we can generate a DOW file. Using that DOW file, we can using that example or criteria, those things, those object, we can easily get the data from the database. So in the here, MyByte is where automatic database connections are taken care.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is good. So I think we have covered most of the things. Like, do you find this conversation useful?
Yeah, yeah, it's useful because after 2 years I'm looking for vast opportunity where I'm testing the knowledge here, and you're giving very much examples as well how to improve all the things, and you're giving more advice on how to answer those things, how to answer all the questions, and even if I am wrong, you are giving the right answers. I could see earlier as a professor, they will ask the question and they will not say right answer, how to correct those, and you are giving those answers as well. So it's useful for me.
Yeah, so see,
Before I can attend the interview, it's like a pre-interview where I can test whether everything's I'm going on a perfect way to attend the interview or not. Those things are there.
yeah, so technical wise you are very good, I think. And according to your experience, uh, and uh, there are few things which I already shared with you, like answer to answer explaining your project, be it telling about yourself, be it some technical question in between. So actually, in
Mm.
my career also,
Mhm.
initially I faced the same problems while changing the job and everything. So that's why I created this platform, so that
Mm.
I can give it back to community.
So, okay.
Okay, so it was nice talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, can you share me where I can learn good data such as those
Okay,
things,
so I generally
and
don't.
Java 8?
Yeah, I generally don't prefer books because books, it's my preference actually. Because of, I mean,
Mhm.
books, we have read a lot of books in colleges and school days. So books
Mhm.
make everything boring. So I prefer videos. So there are,
Mhm.
Telesco is very good channel, and Telesco, I prefer
And my
Telesco.
concern is right. Telesco is good, but they are not in Telesco. They
Adequate.
are not giving a full adequate content.
Yeah.
It's okay for a fresher who is learning that language.
Okay.
But if you have to master that language, those things, right? Internal, if you take multi-threading, where
Yeah.
is a synchronization means it gives only it can be
Very
used
basic.
by multi-thread those things. But we need to know inside concept like object level log, class level log, those things.
Okay, so I understood your concern. So,
Mm.
especially for synchronization and all the things, there is Tech Primer,
Mm.
which I also follow.
Mm.
There is Defog Tech, which I also follow, and so I will also share like everything. I don't remember as of now, but yeah, I will share all the things with you in future. So these channels are very good in terms of uh, synchronization, I mean threading and everything. Apart from that,
Okay.
Java Techie is very good channel. uh,
Mm.
Java Techie, which is explaining everything, like I read uh, Spring Cloud and Spring Security and everything from that channel. Yeah,
Uh,
so these are the things on YouTube, and apart from that, I will share the resources with you whenever like I remember everything. Apart from that, you are good to
okay.
go actually. uh,
Okay, I need to initially prepare some things on my project, how introduction, those things I need to take in.
yeah,
Yeah, I have some personal question. Can I ask?
yes, tell me.
So now I'm currently working on a Java project, right? So Java project, these things. So I got a opportunity where I got a reference like those things where we are working on a cloud native application, Kubernetes, Docker,
Okay.
Vue.js, were cloud native application. So my concern is whether I can switch to Kubernetes Docker in that way, or in Java Spring Boot I can go in this way, or where my career growth will be good one.
So are you like more interested in that part, Kubernetes and everything, Docker, AWS, these things, or hardcore coding?
Okay.
because
I'm interested in both as well, but I don't have much experience on that Kubernetes Docker.
okay, so no need to worry about that
So
because
my fear is whether I can switch to that, whether my career growth will be a good one, or I can go in this path as well. That's my goal.
yeah. So what will happen whenever with your experience and see in
Okay.
senior level, even many of the seniors don't know about how deployment is happening and everything. I mean they know, but they are
Mhm.
not much concerned because we have a DevOps team for that purpose. So
Mhm.
if you are interested into that role, DevOps role, you can learn these
Okay.
things in detail. Otherwise you can learn basic things about that how things are functioning, and you can give more time into coding and proceed with coding
Okay.
role only. I mean that is also good, that is up to
Okay.
your interest. And in every company whenever you will switch, you will face these things for deployment. So you need to have basic idea about those. In fact nowadays they are using podman instead of docker. There are multiple things actually.
Mhm.
Technology is very fast changing, so you can't say that in
Okay.
some near future there will be some more technologies. So you need to have not learning but have basic idea of everything in java,
Okay.
everything from deployment side to database side. So you suppose you are using postgres sql, right? So
Mhm.
you are
Yes.
using postgres sql, but you have to have some basic idea about oracle as well, about nosql, mongodb as well. So what it is beneficial for you, because in some companies, uh, like in every company technology stack, some or little will be different. Instead of
Mhm.
postgres, some are using oracle, some are using mongodb, some are using spring boot, some are using some other technologies, uh, spring or some old technologies, maybe jax rx,
Okay.
anything technology stack can be anything.
Mhm.
So you need to have little bit idea about everything, so that will be very helpful for you in your future, in your career.
Okay. So
In fact,
what I thought means if I switch to that DevOps like side, how will be my career growth, or I can continue in this Java coding side itself. That's my goal.
yeah, so you can continue with it. In fact, I mean if you want to ask how is the DevOps role, it is very good, it is as equivalent good as a
Okay.
java developer. It is very good if you choose that line in future. So you don't need to
Okay.
think that this particular role has some lesser value than java developer. It is as equivalent
Mhm.
as your java developer role. It is up to you. If you are getting
Okay.
opportunity, so
Mhm.
you just can't leave that opportunity by thinking that this will be a lesser important role, uh, compared to java
Mhm.
developer. It is as equivalent good.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It was nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.